time. Now we are at a full week since you passed away. Like a full-on week. Like now, this day, last week, there you are. This day last week, you were gone. You were gone already. I woke up at, I guess 5 o'clock. I was 5:01. I woke up at 3, and yesterday, let me just preface this by saying that yesterday was a very, very hard day. We don't know why. We're not really sure, me and Gemma, because every day is a bad day. Like literally every day is a bad day. But for some reason, yesterday was just fucking hard. Like it was so fucking hard. And like I said, I can't even tell you why it was hard. Just that it was hard. Honestly, could have been for a multitude of things. You know, angry that you're gone, sad that you're gone, wishing things could be different. I just, could literally run the gamut on what the actual cause was. But and then I try to think back because I forget that we talk in the morning. So I forget that there's some times where like I don't know, or maybe talking about it the next day will give some sort of clarification or something. I just don't know. But there's I don't know. There was a reason. There was definitely a reason. I know yesterday, I did get your memorial shirt in, which I made a post about it, and, it's literally the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen in my whole lifetime, and it's so funny because it's your face makes it gorgeous, but the shirt itself is exactly what you told me it would be and more. And so that came, and while I was excited to get it, still in disbelief that I'm wearing my child's face in a remembrance shirt on my body. Like, it's so wild. Like, so wild. And, it's definitely a hard pill to swallow. And on the one hand, while I was so excited to show everybody, or I guess not excited to, but, so proud to be wearing that shirt because it had you all over it. And, I want people to know that I'm going to carry your memory with me wherever I go. It still didn't take away the fact that it was really hard. And I think Gemma, I think that really made it hard for her, for sure. And, luckily she had a therapist appointment, and, I can only wish and hope that I would have the same, that I get the same eventually. Although, I will say the therapist told Gamma, that she can give her a grief therapist, the recommendation or the name of a therapist, but she was like, you don't need it. Oh, my neighbors are coming home. She was like, you don't need it because you are, you're grieving. You're grieving. She was like, that's something that you need when you're not grieving, or when you don't know how to process your emotions or things like that. And so I'm like, okay, so she doesn't need a grief therapist And if I'm doing stuff like what I'm doing with, talking to you every morning and stuff like that, then I guess I'm alright too. I guess I don't need one, because we're processing, we're figuring out, we're making our way. We don't know what we're doing, but we're trying, we're figuring it out, and the thing about me and Gamma is we won't stop, We're not gonna stop until we see the other side. That's it, We won't. So there was the shirt. What else was it? I think the fact that yesterday was the full on, was a full 7 days that you've been gone, even though it hadn't been traditionally a week. It's funny because the way we've been taught about, a week, you just assume it's, Tuesday to Tuesday or Wednesday to Wednesday or, whatever to whatever. But honestly and truly, it's just 7 days. And that can be 7 days from, the actual day. I mean, that's essentially what it is. And that 7 days is, that 7 days is, just 7 days. So, in my opinion, I mean, at least I think that's what was messing with me, was that it was, it's 7 days. It's been 1 week without you. But at the same time, just thinking about last Wednesday that you were alive. But I think for me as well, and I know for Gamma because she has said it, I think yesterday and today, because at this time you were already passed away. But, yesterday, last week, it was running down, I think especially for Gamma, just the day's events, how you had been feeling, how you were eating, how you were looking, how you were sounding. It's just, I think hers was running through all of that, and being like, at what point did I go wrong? At what point, in that day, could I have changed something? And I mean, you can't think like that, because there is no changing anything, There's no changing nothing anymore. It is what it is. You're gone, and that's it, And no amount of looking back on last week is gonna make that any different. And I myself have been thinking about last week in terms of what I know about yesterday and about how you passed. And I know you're croaking really loud right now, making your whole frog choir sing, because I think you don't want me to touch on this, but I have to, Tom. I have to get out my feelings, right? And so if I have to get out my feelings, that means get out all of my feelings. And everything that I'm feeling, at some point it does involve dealing with the fact of how you passed, the moment you passed, what Gamma told me, the fact that you woke up at 4 and you were having trouble breathing, and I keep going back to that time, and I picture it, even though I wasn't there, and I try to picture it in my head about, I guess to try to be with you during that final time, because I wasn't physically with you. And even though I wasn't physically with you and Gamma was physically with you, I mean, the Lord still sent her out of the door, to allow for you to pass. So, but I just think about how quick that was. You woke up, you were having trouble breathing, and you said you were dizzy, and Gamma called the ambulance. And as she was calling the ambulance and getting everything ready, and those usually last maybe 1 or 2 minutes for the phone call. So you experienced that for just 1 or 2 minutes. She got off the phone. She asked you about where things are so she can help you. And, you know, the second she left and you were gone. And I really have to hope and pray in my heart that, you know, the Lord took mercy on you. And that while, you know, it may have been distressing those 1 or 2 minutes before he took you so fast, like so fast you wouldn't have even, it would have made your head spin. And, you know, when he took you, you know, he took you. Like there was no coming back from it. He took you. And then I think about, you know, just the series of events, how, you know, my ringer was so low that, you know, I only heard the tail end of the call, and I thought for a minute that it was an alarm, and it was weirding me out, but it was like an alarm that sounded so far away. And I remember waking up like, what the hell? And I looked at my phone and I saw that you were calling, and, you know, of course I was trying to swipe and it didn't answer. It just hung up, and I was like, what the fuck? And then I tried calling you back, and then the phone wouldn't even call Gamma. It wouldn't even dial out. And I remember, you know, of course, immediately panicked, because Gamma never calls me in the middle of the night. Like, ever, ever, ever. Never. And Gamma never calls me, period. Like, that was another thing. Like, Gamma never calls me. So the fact that she called me at 4 o'clock in the morning, it was like I was immediately scared. And then I didn't know, you know, if it was you or if it was going to be Gamma. I didn't know what the fuck, you know. Truth be told, my greatest fear, or, you know, some of my greatest fears have been you know, either calling me in the middle of the night to, you know, scared and crying, saying that Gamma had, you know, she's not breathing, or her heart stopped, or whatever. And then, and of course, the other fear is Gamma doing the same. Well, that fear came true. So Gamma, you know, I got up, and I have to relive this time. I know you don't want me to go there. You keep saying it doesn't matter, but I don't care. Like, I have to talk about it. I have to get it out. I have to let it be known, because it just sits inside of me constantly, and I think about it over and over and over and over again. But you know, so Gamma calls me, and I'm trying to call her back, and I just remember telling Dad, you know, I think something's wrong. I think something's wrong. My mom called me, something's wrong. And I remember, like, just immediately fear. And then trying to call Gamma back, trying so hard to call her back, and my phone wouldn't dial out. And I was like, oh my gosh, you know, like, is this a dream? I started to wonder if I was in a dream, because dreams that I have, anytime my phone is in it, I can never use my phone. There's maybe been one time out of all the times that I can remember that I've had a dream with a phone in it, and I can never use it. You know, I can scroll on it, I can do whatever, but I can just never, I can never use it. I can never dial out. I can never send I could never send a text message. I can never do shit. So I remember getting up, going pee, because I'm just like, I knew something was wrong and I was gonna need to get up, and, you know, we were gonna have to probably go. And then while I'm, you know, on the John peak, Gamma, you know, I stopped with the phone. I stopped trying to call Gamma. I said I'm gonna let her call me back. So I stopped. She called. I answered. What happened? You know, as soon as Gamma said, Dan, you know, I knew. Oh gosh, I knew that something extremely terrible had happened. And the fact that Gamma was crying already, and I was just like, oh my God. And I just remember saying, what, you know, just what, oh my God, what? And then she said, your heart had stopped. I was like, oh God, you know. And even hearing those words, that your heart had stopped, was so scary, but at the same time, I don't think I understood the gravity of it. I, I don't, yeah, I didn't understand the gravity of it because I didn't understand what was going on, you know. I look back to it and God, I had, you know, it was a lot to be asked of me, and I tried my hardest, but to be woken up out of a sound sleep, you know, by your mom who's crying to tell you that your child, you know, his heart had stopped. And she said that you know, she's like, all the paramedics, it's like 8 paramedic guys working on her, and they all worked on you. I'm trying to picture, you know, and I tried to picture at the time 8 huge, you know, EMS firefighter dudes who came and, you know, are trying to work on you in Gamma's, you know, room that's not tiny, but it's also not big enough to house, you know, 8 men at one time, plus you on the floor. And so she said they were working on you, and I don't remember what I asked after that. I don't. I think she started to explain to me afterwards, after I said, you know, just how, like, what, how did this happen? I think she had started to tell me how it happened, and, you know, told me about you not being able to breathe, and, you know, feeling dizzy, and, you know, saying that, you know, she had basically been up all night watching over you. And I bet she had probably, like, just dozed off, and, or, you know, been dozed off for just a little bit when, you know, you were making your way to heaven. And, you know, and yeah. And then I just remember telling her, I'm on the way, I'm on the way, I'm on the way. I had to get off the phone with her. We had to, you know, I had to put on my shoes. I had to put on a bra. I didn't care about nothing else. I remember getting on my knees. As soon as I got off the phone with her, I told Dad, we have to go, we have to go. Tana's heart stopped. And I don't think he even understood what I was saying. And so then we jump up, you know, and my knees are weak. My knees are so weak, and I'm so nervous and scared. And I remember just getting on my knees, dropping down on my knees, and I started praying. And I just started praying. I didn't know what I was praying for. I just kept praying, God, you know, God, please be with Tiana. Please be with my mom. Please watch over her. God, please don't take her. Please don't take her. Please don't take her. Please don't take her. You know, just praying whatever I could pray. I remember saying, please don't take her. But I don't remember anything else of my prayer. And then I wanted to make sure, because I didn't know what time we were coming back. I knew it wasn't going to be no short thing. So I gave the dogs some food, threw some in their bowl. I said, okay, bye. We didn't even let the chickens out, like nothing. We couldn't because it was too early, and I just wanted to hurry up. And we got in the car, and, you know, I was just still distraught. I don't even remember calling Gamma. I called her, and I don't even remember what we were talking about. I remember the spot we were at when they called it, and when you were gone. I mean, you were already gone, but when you were really, really gone, and they called it and stopped working on you. Me and Dad were going over that bridge. I think we're not too far from here, because I called Gemma back, and I was on the phone with her, thankfully, when they called it, instead of waiting. And I'm so glad. Instead of waiting till we got there for her to, you know, for her to see a police officer there. And, you know, I'm glad I had my meltdown in the car with Dad, where I could just scream and cry and just do whatever I want. And that I did. I'll never forget, you know, talking to Gamma, and then just hearing her. I don't even remember what she said to them when they said something. I think she was like, what? You know, just the way she said it, and the sound of her voice. And then I think she said, "Oh no," and I was just like, "Oh God," and I knew she didn't even need to tell me the words. She didn't even need to tell me the words. I know when she said it, how she said it, that you were gone. And I started screaming, Ton. I started screaming the most feral, loud, shrill, shrieking screams that I have ever uttered in my entire life. Like, I've never made sounds like that. It gives me chills thinking about it now, being in that moment of just raw, busted wide open pain that all you can do is just scream out. Scream. And that's what I did. I screamed out to the Father. I screamed out to Him. I said, "Lord, why? I screamed. I screamed so much. I screamed your name. I screamed Jesus. So many times did I scream out Jesus' name. And that's, I know He was there. I know He was there with me. Of course He was. He was watching everything. He was there. He was there to take your hand and guide you over to the other side, So, like, I know, I know that that's starting to get loud. It's breaking my concentration. There was a car. I guess you're saying wrap it up, huh? Because a car passed by when I've been standing out here for like 30 solid minutes and nobody passed by, but neighbors' dogs are starting to bark. Neighbor came home, and it's just, there's a lot happening right now, but I'm not going to stop. I'm going to continue on explaining what last week held for us, because it's part of the grief. It's part of everything, Ton, So, after the screaming, it was crying. Gemma had hung up on me. I know not like intentionally, but she hung up on me because she couldn't hear it. She couldn't take it. And, so after I had calmed down even slightly, after I calmed down a bit, I called her back. We were still on the road because, it took about 40 minutes for us to get there, even with Dad, like, flying. He was going around people and everything. It was crazy. But, even in all of that, it was just like, God, it was the longest, most torturous ride ever of my life, of our lives. And, Dad didn't understand, even though I think he went into shock. I don't know why he would think I would be screaming like that, unless it was, for you passing. But, men are not really the brightest. So, I don't know, at some point after I had, calmed down a little bit, he had said something about them working on you, and I was just like, they're not working on her. She's gone. She's dead. He was like, what aren't they working on? And he goes into his thing. What do you mean they're not working on her? Why aren't they transferring her to the hospital? Why this, why that? I'm just like, she's gone. They couldn't even bring her back enough to take her to the hospital. She is gone. Well, I mean, they could, every time they put the machine on you, it would beat your heart for you, but that wasn't going to do shit for you, because as soon as they took you off, you were still gone. That's all there is to it, so it was just keeping you fresh for no reason, And then I remember getting there and what torture that was, because, the cop was there. They didn't know what happened, so they, Gamma was inside with you, but I was I wasn't allowed to go inside because I hadn't been there, so I wasn't allowed to go inside or see you, which was fucking torture. I understand the cops had to do their job, but gosh, it was fucking torture. Or so I thought. Dad was getting pissed off and, was almost starting shit with the cop, and I kept telling him to cut it out because he was, getting an attitude, and I'm just like, that's not helping right now. But, he was just so mad he didn't know what to do. So then, we stood outside until about, I think, like 7, honestly. It was 7 o'clock, and, then we were waiting for the medical examiner to come because the medical examiner had to come and do her thing, and the cops kept telling me, well, once the medical examiner comes, then after that her team will come and pick Tana up, and then you'll be able to see her. So they kept telling me, you'll be able to see her, and I just, and I don't know why. I guess because I needed to make it real, that I wanted to see you. I wanted to touch you. I knew, none of it mattered, and you were trying to spare me from all of that, but, like, I just had to. I had to. And now I deeply regret it, Ton. Oh, God, do I deeply regret it. Because who I saw laying there on that floor was not my baby. That was not my baby. I don't know who that was, but my baby is full of life and always has a smile on her head and a bonnet on her head. And it's just the sweetest soul that there ever was. And what I saw laying when they finally let me go in, and then, of course, the medical examiner, when she did come, she was like, no, you can't go in there, you can't touch her. And I was just like, what? I said, but they told me that I had to wait for you. And then she, I caused it. They just all looked at each other, and at that point I was like, I just don't give a shit. Like, y'all iron out y'all shit later. Hello. And then she was like, the cops started being like, she's, they started pleading with her, I think, on my behalf, because she just looked over at them like, you fucking idiots, why did y'all tell her this? But they were great. The cops that were there, for the circumstances, they were really good. And so then Gemma took me and we went inside. We went through Gemma's bathroom, and I remember she opened the door and she was holding on to me, and at first I saw your feet, and how everything was covered with the sheet, and I didn't really see anything other than just your feet and legs under the sheet. And then once we hit that corner of the door frame and I saw your face, and I just, oh God, I lost it. My knees buckled and I fell. I said, what? Because, oh God, Ton, the way I saw you, it was just like the worst Halloween. Like, that shit was fucking scary. That shit was traumatic. That shit, you had blood coming out of your eyes, like tears. And, like you said, you had 2 blood tears. And you had some other stuff on your face. I didn't know what it was. It's like I saw it so quick, but it was long enough for me to get a full-ass glimpse inside, or full glimpse of you while being so quick, and I hate that I have that power of, like, observation, that I can look at something, really quickly and still be able to see all these details. But I saw the tube coming out of your mouth from where they had, they were trying to breathe for you, and the blood, and I kept telling my mom, why is there blood? 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 My niece gave out, and I turned to her. I said, why is there blood? Why is there blood? And Gemma was like, you know, babe, if I would have seen her in that condition, I would have never let you look at her like that. She was like, I was in there with her for a while, you know, after the paramedics left, and I was holding her hand and rubbing her face and kissing her hand and telling her how much we loved her, and I was kissing a double for you since you weren't there. And, you know, she was like, she didn't look like that when I left her, but we also had been standing outside for like 3 hours after you passed, you know. And if I remember watching that one lady on YouTube, her lost her baby, you know, who was stillborn, and I remember she said, you know, when she had him for however long she had him after he had passed away, you know, he had started bleeding out of his nose. And so I was always aware that that was something that just does happen once you pass away, but I just didn't realize that it would happen so quickly after you passed away. And yeah, so that was really traumatic. And I just remember Gemma and maybe a cop or a dad, I don't know, somebody, I just remember seeing that turning around and just like a silent wail came out. I couldn't even, that kind where you open your mouth and you just like, there's no sound coming out, but the pain, the hurt, I mean, just, you can't even make a sound for it, you know. And you know, that's what happened, you know. That's where we're at with that. And now in the days following, I'm so scatterbrained, Ton. I just thought to myself now about how I'll do things and then not finish them. So like for instance, I just thought about right now, you know, how I'll be wrapping it up soon and going inside, and you know, Dad came back, so I gotta get him ready for work. But I'm like, I didn't make him a lunch. I didn't even think about making him lunch for today and tomorrow, because today's only Thursday. So I didn't even think about making him anything. So now I gotta go in there and like either make him a sandwich or, you know, make him something, figure something out. And yeah, so that's that. And you know, it'll just be shit like that. Like I started washing the car today because I just, you know, I wanted to be outside, but I didn't want to just come stand outside. I wanted a reason to be outside. So I started washing the car and washed it, and then just stopped, you know, once I was done, of course. But like, there's more to it than that. You need to detail it. I need to go back and, you know, wipe the windows down with the glass cleaner, because, you know, they're all streaky and they look like shit now. And I'm just like, you know, but I didn't. And then I left the hose out instead of wrapping it back up, and the hose is still out, actually, not wrapped up. And I had left, you know, I was gonna open the gate for Dad when he was coming back yesterday, and when I came to open up the gate, you know, I had left all the car, you know, the car washing stuff out. You know, that was in Dad's bucket. I just left it. It was just out there. And so yeah, it's just little scatterbrain things like that that I'm just like, you know, my gosh, I'll be so glad when you know, I can start to think straight again. I'll be so glad. I need to start making notes is what I need to do. If this is going to be how it's going to be, leave myself a note. Don't forget to finish this. Don't forget to put the hose away. Also, again with the 5 o'clock and needing to, you know, use the bathroom, second door edition, you know, like every morning, it was literally like as soon as I woke up, that was the way it is. So that's really funny. I don't know if that's a stress response now, even though I didn't do it that first day, but I just wonder if that's a stress response right now. And what sucks is that, you know, it's either I go in my bathroom with Dad and they're still sleeping, potentially hearing me, or, you know, I go in Gamma's room, in her bathroom, but then I run the risk of waking her up. And yesterday she gave me a scare, you know, even though she told me she's not going to do anything. And I do believe her. You know, even though I believe her that she's not going to do anything, I still don't know. I don't know anybody. I know Gamma, but I don't know her like that. I've never known Gamma in pain. I've never known Gamma this way. So I don't know what she will do, what she won't do. I can only hope that, she won't do anything terrifying for me at this time in life. But yesterday it was about 7 o'clock, and I was just trying to let her do her thing. I was like, maybe she woke up, maybe she slept late, I don't know. And I was just, trying to busy myself, trying to leave her alone, try to let her do her thing. And I, as time went on, just because ever since she came to stay here with us last week, we had been getting up early. Ever since you passed on, I'm up at 5, the hour of 5. That has never happened before. And like waking up on my own, the hour of 5. That's what's also crazy is that, if it's 5:30, 5:35, 5:15, 5 o'clock. Today I got up at 5:03 or 5:01 maybe. It was like literally as close to on the dot as possible at 5 o'clock. And I just wake up. And it's like there's no going back to sleep after that because I have to get up. I have to come talk to you. I have to get these thoughts out. This is the only quiet time that I can find during the day, with you. Otherwise, it's, when I go to the bathroom or, maybe when I walk into the room really quickly. But, it's always me trying to steal a quiet moment just to speak to you and be able to feel you because when Gamma's here, when Dad's here, I can't like a little bit, you'll send me something, but I can't truly feel you unless I'm like by myself. And even when I'm out here, and it's like it's more of I hear you, not feel you. I hear you being the toad, I hear you being the frogs, I hear you, just being the nighttime early morning sounds. And that's how I know you're out here with me, listening to me, hearing my laments of you. Because that's really what these are. They're just laments, But, anyway, so yesterday, I was letting Gamma sleep. And then once 7 hit, I couldn't take it anymore. I was real anxious. And so I opened the door and I looked and I saw her. She was just there sleeping. And but it was a little darkish in her room. So I couldn't fully, I could see her face and everything, but I couldn't fully see if she was breathing. So I went and got up all close to her and unfortunately woke her up, I think, because then Tech came to me. And so I woke her up and she was just like, no, I'm glad you woke me up because I was having the craziest, stupidest dream. And I'm just like, but I'm glad she's dreaming and being distracted. And she was like, I'm glad you woke me up because she mentioned something about a baby inside of a cup, which was fucking, I said, say less. I'm glad I woke you up then because that sounded weird. And I actually had a dream last night, or early this morning, but I don't remember at all what it was or what it was about. I just know that, I had it, I was in it. When I woke up, I kind of remembered a little bit of it, but I was mainly just trying to think back to it to see if I saw you at all. So I'm trying to tell you what else happened. Oh, you have blast from our past, because it's not just my past, it was your past too. You have blast from the past hitting me up to tell me that they're sorry about, me losing you. Freaking Chow Bro, who I literally haven't talked to in 10 plus years, messaged me and said at one time he considered you a daughter and that you had given him a taste of what fatherhood could be. And, he's just really sorry and he sends his condolences. And, I get lost in my own grief that I forget to think about all these people throughout your life who, whether you've been in their life for a month, a year, a minute, you left such an impact on them, and you made them love you, so deeply and so fiercely. for the time that, you know, they were around you. You know, I'm waiting for Karen, you know, I'm waiting on it, because I know you guys didn't have a good relationship, but I know she really liked you. I know she loved you, and she cared for you a lot of the time. So, you know, I'm waiting for her. It may come, it may not come, I don't know, but I just have a feeling, you know, that she would reach out, just because she was a part of your life for a really long time. And your dad's surprising the hell out of me. You're actually surprising me. I don't know if it's because you're talking to your grandma, Deborah, up there. I don't know what it is, but, you know, after I had that little explosion the other day about your dad, and, you know, saying how he needs to, you know, cough up some fucking bread if you want to be a part of this, because the days of me saving you for Tana's sake is done, because she gone, you know. I told Gamma exactly that. I'm like, you were gone, and I don't have to be fucking nice no more. I never had to be nice, but I was nice to him on the strength of you. I saved him constantly on the strength of you, and now you're gone, and there's none of that. And this is the last time that he has to step up as a fucking father and to do something for you, to help in this, to help shoulder some of this fucking burden. Not that you're the burden. It's a burden to plan everything, and it's a burden to have to pay for, you know, getting you cremated and stuff. But you, Tana, are not a burden, and doing the things for you is not a burden. It's just, it is a burden. It's a parent's burden to bear. That's just all that there is to it. And I understand that this is my burden to bear, but it's not only mine. You know, if he wants to, you know, I told him, and you know, he said he's going to see how much his VFW can raise to go towards it. And honestly, anything is accepted. You know, we'll have the money to do any and everything that you want to do. But, you know, every little bit helps. And, you know, that's that. He needs to cough up. He needs to contribute. He needs to finally be a fucking dad. But yeah, it's really weird times. It's really weird times we're in. I started making, you know, I know people were like, oh, I'll help you do this. Like Brittany was like, I'll make the cards for you. Like, don't worry at all. I got this for you. And then, you know, she's got her problems with her son. And I just said, you know what, I can't put this on you. You know, you've already donated so big. You've been messaging me constantly, checking in, and I just, like, I cannot ask her to do this. The one guy hasn't gotten back to me, so Lexi hasn't gotten back to me, so I'm just gonna do it on my own. You know, I feel like, and anybody who, you know, if they give me stuff afterwards, I will take it, I will use it for sure. But you know, for right now, I'm gonna get your shirts made like you want. You got to keep telling me who you want to have a shirt. Otherwise, you know, I'm just gonna get like order a few extras, and you know, if anybody wants them, they can, you know, first come first serve, you know, sorry, or I'll order them one, you know, afterwards, after all is said and done. But you know, continue to tell me who is the top friends, you know, who would you like to have this, you know, these shirts, you know. I'm trying to support them. I'm trying to be there for them, babe. I'm trying to, you know, step into some sort of motherly role with them, because they're hurting. They're hurting real bad. And, you know, same. Honestly, same. So, you know, I'm reaching out to them. I know Hannah's having such a hard time, babe. And I don't know how to help her. I really don't. I don't know what to say to her. I don't know what to, nothing, but nothing. That's the thing. Nothing. Nobody can say anything to me that's gonna take it away. Nobody can say anything to her that's gonna take it away. It's just a personal journey that we all have to navigate and figure out on our own. But I just know that on this day last week, Tom, you were already gone. And the hole you left is just, it's rough, you know. The week's going by. I have to go back to work next week, and I'm just so, like, I'm so worried about it. But at the same time, you know, life has to go on. You keep telling me that. And life has to go on. So life will go on. You're going to be there at the center of it. And that's all there is to it, you know. You're going to be in the middle of everything that I do from here on out. I don't care what it is, you know, work, going to the store, going wherever. You're coming with me. You're my ride or die. My ride or die. And unfortunately you died, but I'm going to continue to ride for you. And I love you so much, and I just, you know, please be with us today as we navigate, you know, another day. I need Dad to hurry up and print out that paper, the release, because of course the printer still won't fucking work. And you know, yesterday it took him a long time to get home, so I didn't want to ask him to go to I didn't want to ask him to go to the Walmart to get a new printer because it was already late when he got home, and we still had to go you know, we still had to go get Getmo's medication. So but yeah, I love you. I love you, Jesus. Thank you for taking our baby up there. Thank you that she's seated with you. Thank you that you're just letting her spread her wings. And I started taking a picture of the sunset, you know, while we're out. I decided that would be something I would do. I would start taking a picture of the sunset, because I know that if I'm out and the sunset is happening, that you painted it especially for me. So I will take the pictures and cherish them as I cherish you, my Ton. I love you so, so, so much. I'll see you tomorrow morning, okay?